My name is Kumar. I'm a Vice President for Responsible Gold. It's an entity built by some of the gold mining companies. Mining, when I say mining, it's mining, not Bitcoin mining. No, I know that this room is full about mining, which is maybe different kind of mining, which is very new, built 8 years ago. A complete cryptographical, magical mining, which people can do by sitting in their homes, but that's not the mining companies which who are my bosses are the mining companies who are mining gold. So I'm their VP of Innovation. Other than this, I built 2 companies on a blockchain space in the past 2.5 years. Both are in top 100 blockchain influencer companies. One is Oxysis, which is an enterprise blockchain company, giving services to big 4 Cs, some of the governments, Indian government, we do some projects for the UK government as well. The second company for which I'm here today is called Cashaa. And the Cashaa is an interesting use case which we're going to talk, that how really cryptocurrencies or the currencies or the new generated tokens like Bitcoin or things which are coming new, which half of us not able to even make sense that why we need this, are changing lives of thousands of people. And when I say changes life, it's not changing hypothetically, it's touching them. And we will see in the rest of our slides that how it's happening. Other than this, I built an insurance company in Italy. It's a peer-to-peer insurance, boring business, not like fun like cryptography or making magical money, but a traditional business. Other than this, I started my career working as an engineer at BMW, and I worked for Ferrari, and that's how I moved to Italy. So people wondering how I ended up in Italy, it's because of Ferrari. No, other than before, I didn't know that Italy really I can work other than knowing that there is pizza and Ferrari. Anyway, so let's talk about Cashaa. But before talking about Cashaa, where this all started, if we go back in the history. When I say history, you don't have to go rewind 800 years ago. 9 years ago, when a white paper published by someone called Satoshi, or maybe he, she, it, published a white paper called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer system. But things really does not change even after the white paper. If we see this graph, nobody really paid attention for next 4 years. Things were as flat as it was before. But then suddenly something happened in 2012-13 when suddenly the price of Bitcoin is skyrocketed. And since then, we never looked back, creating every day or maybe every week on average new cryptocurrency. And now we end up maybe having more than 1,000 cryptocurrencies. Last week I was speaking in India and someone told me that in India there are more than 1,000 cryptocurrencies. And 99.9% of them even does not exist technically. So it's a world which is coming new. So obviously there is a very obvious possibility that there are a lot of scams going on, which is very obvious when you have something which is not clear what it does, and on the other side it looks very golden and making a lot of money. So people try to make money. It's a business, good or bad, and that's what's happening right now. But then you have some of these tokens, like just you talk about Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin have a huge market capitalization. It's being maybe, I don't know, have millions of users now, millions of people who are literally holding this or have at least a piece of it, know how it works. And then other than this, we have more than tens and hundreds of them which legitimately exist, and there are some of them who really make sense and solving one or the another problem. I listed here not every useful ones, but only by the market capitalization top 8 to just give an idea that who are those and what is their market cap. So if you are looking for an investment, maybe you can use one of them. So these are some of the coins which we have right now. These not necessarily all are the coins, like we have Ethereum here, which is a token, which is a kind of gas used to run your smart contracts. I don't know how many people here are developers. There are developers, only one. Okay.
Oh.
So we have one genius developer.
There's always one.
Yeah, there's always one.
He's a special one though.
Yeah, there's always one who want to ruin my session, huh? No. So yeah. So because we don't have developers, it doesn't mean to go too much technical. So we can just understand these are the tokens which hold right now some economical values. But what Cashaa does, but what this does, this entire industry is about. Right now this industry has more than 100 billion of worth in one or another form of tokens. But 80% of this movement is done just by using one tool, which is called speculation. So people here, what doing is just making money using speculation of these coins. And that's very obvious and very easy to do, because speculation is an application of a commodity which does not need many people. You can do just by yourself. You can just buy cheaper and sell expensive. And that's what right now happening in a Bitcoin world, or in any cryptocurrency world. There is not any strong application which is solving a problem of a human race. When I say human race, I mean the larger portion. So what could this 100 billion worth of business is about? Just for few people, few thousand of people making speculation every day? Or we can do something more than this. And that's where the Cashaa came. So Cashaa created a P2P marketplace where we said, okay, so we have these traders exchanging hundreds of billions every year, making a speculation. So we have a kind of engine moving 100 billion every year. Let's see how we can do, what we can do this. And what we did, we plugged this and created a marketplace for the people who want to send money. Now, when we did this, what happened? But before what happened, where this? So remittance, it's a very normal use case happening from hundreds of years. People are traveling, migrating to different countries and sending money back. Maybe for business reasons, for personal reasons, for any reasons. But there are $600 billion market is here. And the fees to do this is incredible. Yeah. Yes, you can say. But if you see, what's the point here, which does not affect a lot that there is a fee. The point which encourages me to do this or motivates me to do this, the lower the sum you send, the poorer you are, the more the fee you pay. Sounds reverse. Although in a normal society, the higher you make, the more income tax you pay. But in remittance world, the poorer you are, the smaller you send, the higher you pay. Which sounds like a hidden tax, because someone is paying money just in a form of indirect taxes, in so-called remittance fee, so that his money could be used by his own friends and families. Does not sound justified, because someone is working hard, making money, and just because his friends and family can use that money, he have to pay again 15% in a form of fees. And that's a problem, because it's not aligned with what our society says and what we think that we should. We have slogans, help poor, donate, and blah, 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 blah. And all those things goes in one line when you see this graph. And especially if you see for Africa, because we run a lot of campaign for Africa, we say that we have to help, we have to promote, but see how we are promoting by charging them the most. So, and that's where Cashaa came, and Cashaa said that if we are able to merge these two markets, we are able to create value for all these people, to let them send their money to their home completely free. And that's what, this is the combination what we built. Yeah, so that's why, you don't do everything for money, but obviously we make money, because I'm a businessman, so I need to make money in a way that everyone is happy. So we see how we make money, but if you see, so this was something what we did. We made a mixture of 600 billion market and trying to mix it with 100 billion and see that how we can come up with a win-win formula. And came. The process was very simple. What we said, we created a marketplace this is a very rough example to just give an idea of what's happening. So we had before in a cryptocurrency world, these two guys, sellers and buyer trading each other. That's all. What we said, let's do this picture complete, and instead of let them trade directly, what if they trade in different geographical location where the most of the money is moving, and the trade happens not directly this, but something like this. So what happened, a cash sender who have to give cash is matched by the people who want to sell their bitcoins in a high liquid market, and people who want to receive actually, and the buyer was matched with the receiver so that he can deliver the cash in a low liquid market. When I say high liquid market and low liquid market, it's the reason because most of the money, if you see, is moving from high liquid to low liquid market. It's a very, like, just take an example of India. India have more than 74 billion a year remittance. Out of that, 90% is to India and 10% is out of India. And if you see, the Bitcoin volumes in London or in UK is much higher than Bitcoin volume in India. Although there are different market conditions which is changing and India is picking up, which is again good for us because we need more buyers there. But what's happening? The more people are coming into the Bitcoin world, the more they are solving the problem of sending cash. Because then we have more hands doing this trading, and let those 600 billion volume which was moved before by the big giants like Western Union, MoneyGram, RIA, banks through this network of cryptocurrencies. Obviously, the values were created was win-win for both of them. The traders who before had the access to a small market or just one market, now able to trade actually anywhere in the world, given where the money is flowing. And the money flow is almost everywhere. Like if you see UK, just from UK, we have more than 35 countries where people in UK are sending money. So they have get access to high liquid market, so they can sell their Bitcoin actually more expensive or any crypto token more expensive. While the cash sender have to pay no to zero fee to low fee, let's put it this way so I can tell where I make my money. And obviously the second most important thing when people send money abroad is the exchange rate. So the exchange rate is something when people comes that, okay, you don't charge a direct fee, but what you do, you make money on FX by cheating people on the FX. But we don't do that as well. If you go on our website, you see that our FX is usually higher than what you see on Google. So forget about banks. We don't want to compare with the worst.
So what do you use a cross rate?
Sorry?
Which rate?
So obviously there is a mechanism to control exchange rates. We take the global exchange rate, which is current market exchange rate, and then we see that how much benefit we can give this average consumer who does not have any idea of Bitcoin blockchain. And part of that profit goes converted into the exchange rate. So usually you will get an exchange rate which is higher than the mid-market rate. In the worst days, you get equal to mid-market rate. So even in the worst day, you are getting 2 points higher than banks and 1 point higher than any startups using normal banking rates. Obviously then, but we need to test the product. That's very important, that the product works inside, in the real market, or it works inside my mind. That's very important for a startup. We get very possessive, no, this is gonna work. So let's see that how it works. We put this system open in a market, and we got more than 11,000 traders who moved more than $2 million US by using this. Most of the money was moved. Obviously we acquired traders in hundreds of countries, but obviously the system does not work in hundreds of countries because we didn't have enough liquidity in Bitcoin. But where it worked very well was India, UK, US, Japan, China, Nigeria, all the markets where we need, because that's where the money movement market is about. And that's why the final product which we come up with is complete two separate products. One product is for the traders, and one product is just for the cash senders who want to transfer cash. Because the people who want to send money does not want to know what is Bitcoin. They don't want to get exposed with any kind of problems, because they are very average people who want to send their money home. They have not any interest more than that. So it's very important that the product which we have is very clean and clear to them, very understandable. This is my money, this is what I have to pay, and this is what I receive. And that's what the Cashaa platform does. While in the background we have a more complicated product for the traders, which is a kind of exchange book where his exchanges are running. We have different high technologies to make calculations, matching, bidding, but that's a complete different product running behind, which is used by those 0.001% people involved in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and doing day-to-day trading and making their money out of the living by trading, because these are the experts. They understand what they are doing. So it makes sense if they get involved in the complicated stuff, but not average consumer. And that's the reason we have complete two different products with complete different interface. Obviously, Cashaa was launched, I don't know, for 5 weeks live. So we are already 5 weeks live in 3 corridors. We are sending money from UK to India and UK to Nigeria. The reason why we picked this because based on our stats which we had, because we had most of traders there, we see the market is very good and we see the profitability we have very good to doing that. So we are actually making more money sending money from UK to Nigeria than UK to Spain. So that's the reason why we picked these 3 countries. There is no other magic or rocket science why we picked these 3 corridors. It's just because of simple business and profitability. Also because one more reason, that the volume which we have. From UK to India, we have a volume of 3.9 billion US dollar a year. From UK to Nigeria, we have 3.7 billion US dollar of volume. So you'll be able to no, it's a overall. So we have a maximum up to 2.5 million.
So I was going to say there's lots of other companies.
Yeah. So this is like overall volume which we have. But as a startup like us, it makes very sense to be as much as focused and play in a market which is very concentrated. Because we have to grab customers from Western Union. That's not hard, but that's not easy because you need to explain your value propositions to people. Yeah, so we are also ranked in 28th last week and the top 100 most influential blockchain companies. So that's more about Cashaa. But today I come up with a new product. So this was the like a presentation which we have for Cashaa. But last night when I was traveling, I came up with a new product which Cashaa can have. And that's I'm going to discuss first time from you. And I would like to know that is what I'm thinking this time really makes sense, or it's again something which I just think it's correct. So I came up with this word last night in flight. It's called micro remittance. When I say micro remittance, why? Because I have checked the people making every day 100 pounds or 50 pounds. What they do, they save their money for a week. They collect 500 pounds, 600 pounds, and then they go to a Western Union office or whatever their favorite channel is and do the remittance. So my question was, for me, why they do this? What's the motivation behind collecting all this money, 100 pounds or 50 pounds a day, and not sending them like every day? Because if I make money every day, I use it for food every day. I use to pay my bills every day. Then what is stopping me to pay my family living in the other side of the world, not do that the same? And what I thought, maybe it's because of the high fee, because if you send in 500 pounds, you pay 15 pound a fee. But if you send 100 pound, still you pay 10 pounds a fee. Which means if you are sending 50 pounds, you are just paying more than 12 or 15 or 20% just as a fees. So the motivation maybe behind here is to not pay the extortion, let's put it this way. So they are collecting this money to send this. But this is difficult, especially for the people who are living and making money day to day, and they need their family to be use this money every day. So I came up with this, why not if Cashaa can have a product?
Or you give them a Bitcoin for every time you send it.
Yes, so we can give you the Bitcoin. The problem is that we teach them how to secure their Bitcoins.
Yeah.
You know, so we can take a session on a Bitcoin, that what's our pros and cons, what's needed to Bitcoin scale. The problem here, but we are talking about an average person waking every day at 9, going to work, making every day 50 pounds and 100 pounds, coming back and saving money, and don't want to think any other than that. And that's what the world where we are living in right now. So what's the idea which Cashaa have? What about if we have a fixed rate called £1 to send any fee, any amount of sum you want? You want to send £10, we charge you £1. You want to send £50, we charge you £1, and the money reaches in less than 6 hours. And that's what we are doing. So we have still one product where you can send money completely free if it's a big amount, £500 or £1,000. But if you want to send a small amount, £50, we allow you to do this. Only there is a small fee of £1 to do it. And I came up with micro remittance. Still it's not micro because I'm talking about £10, £20, £50, while the micro means maybe less than £1. But if we see the remittance, is still, in compared to the numbers which we have, is micro compared to that what we have. And I talked to some guys this morning to the Western Union office after getting on the plane. First thing I did, I went to one of the shop to validate my idea in London and in Manchester. So that's why I was a bit late here. And I've been there and I just wanted to confirm that what they feel and what the customer feels. So I interviewed like since morning 4 customers, and I found that yeah, somehow I'm correct. The reason why they don't send it's because of the high fees. Because they don't have, most of the people I encountered, which maybe because I don't have enough numbers right now, because just 4 people, not enough number to say it's correct. But what we have is that there was one more challenge that it's better for them because then they don't have to take care of the security. Because now there are a lot of people here in UK who are unbanked, making in cash, sending cash, and now they have to collect this money and keep it for a week, which is again a security risk, that they have to keep this money safe somewhere. So if we have this kind of tool, it can work. I would like to know your opinion, what you think, that what kind of challenges we can have if we have this kind of product, or any other solutions.
Good market research there,
Sorry, I didn't get your
Good
question.
market research.
So why only you guys gonna get out of something? Why not me?
So do people send it through their smartphone?
Yes. Yeah, so you can, so literally, and the system is live, so it's working right now. So I didn't know that the Cashaa can do it right now. I just need to tell people to do that and put a £1 of fee. So you can use it right now to use Cashaa to send £20 to India, and you pay £1 of fee. And the exchange rate you get at Cashaa will not discriminate you because you are poor or because you are rich.
So if you've got the cash, how do you do it? If I've got £50 and I want to send it in.
Yes, so how you do it in London? In London we have...
I'm in London, right?
Yeah, sorry?
I'm in a field in another part of Britain. How do I send my
So that's the way you don't do it. Very simple
We're not
answer.
there yet.
So one of the things is that we have for the people, if you have got a bank account, you can do a bank transaction of £20. But and that's why we are bringing on board the Western Union and all these guys who are already collecting this cash for Western Union. So you can jump into one of the offices which Western Union already have, and you can just pay there. So just to give the time frame, the Cashaa works, sends your money in less than 24 hours. But if you are a first-time sender, not you are the first-time sender, but if your recipient is receiving first time through Cashaa network, it will take up to 24 to 36 hours to complete the KYC and compliance get done other time. But the second time, once it is done, the money reaches less than 6 hours. While in Western Union network, no matter, you keep sending the money every time, it's take 1 to 2 days. If you use TransferWise, it takes 3 to 4 days.
So who does the KYC?
We do the KYC.
Right, so I go in, sorry, I'm just being I've got my £50. I go into a Western Union office or agent that you're using. Do I have to take a passport with me, some identification?
You have to take any government UK ID which validates who are you. And how the system works typically if you are using the system by yourself, not going to an agent. In that case, you just do your verification online, upload your document online. But I understand there are a lot of people does not understand.
Can you retain that?
Yeah, obviously. Otherwise, what's the point asking those data?
But Western Union have to do that anyway, don't they? When they're sending money abroad.
Is it?
Sorry, yeah, they don't do it like, but they have a big paper form. So you go on a shop, you fill out this big
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah, you're pretty.
While in our case, it's more easier because the agent do this all for you because we don't do any paperwork. There is a simple form filled by agents, and actually these agents they are not filling any form. Actually, what they are doing in very easy thing, they are actually creating your online account and doing all those things which you have done online if you haven't gone to an agent. So that's what they are. So we have only a centralized place. For us, our agents are not really MTO agents. They are just, say, a proxy for our consumers. Because our consumers, we understand, is not technically enough. Everyone which can go on the internet and use this kind of services. Because one of the market research which I found that TransferWise is a wonderful service. I'm using it from past 3 years, until before Cashaa. And but the point here is that still why Western Union have 123 billion of volume? This is the question. It means that TransferWise is good, cheaper, everything is nice, but there is not awareness in real market. That's all.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
One of your opening lines was that the more money you send, you get a fee. The less money you send, you're paying a higher percentage, and that's wrong. Yeah, but what you're now proposing is...
No, that was the other system. That was a competitor system.
Right, that's competitors, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that's wrong. But now what you're proposing, which I'm having a little bit difficult thinking with, you're saying is, for high volume transfers, you won't charge anything. But for micro payments, you will charge, which is the same system as you just criticised at the start.
So what we are doing here, that now we have two systems here. Now two systems run in two different manner. So the one system which is still free, which depends on our agents network, which is not instant, which is absolutely free to use for no matter low or high volume or what is the amount. But then we have this micro payments because in the case of micro payments or smaller payments, we are building we can have our own fabric where we collect all these payments immediately and get this dispersed in less than 6 hours.
Oh, right.
So here the service is working like this, that right now if you go on Cashaa, without this service, let's talk about how it's working right now. You send £20, you pay no fee. You pay up to, we have a limit up to $2,000, so whatever is the equivalent in pounds, you pay no fee. But then you have to depend on our trading network to get matched and exchange the value. Now what I'm suggesting here in micropayments or a second parallel system inside Cashaa, where we can settle the payments instantaneous. So we can have people already in a queue before you arrive as a cash sender and getting the matches done instant. And no matter what volume you do, 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 2,000, you pay £1 fee irrespective of your amount.
So your pound fee is
Yeah.
speeding up the process.
Speeding up the process.
Okay, I got it.
So what happens if you don't have any? You would have to match them up.
So in the free model, what happens that it does not get transferred. So you have inefficiency in the system that you need to depend on the trading network. And that's one of the reasons why we launched it into two markets, UK and India, UK and Nigeria, and not launch everywhere and start doing marketing because we need to show that we must have availability in on both the sides.
So you're testing it at the moment in these two markets.
Yes.
Where do you think you would expand to once you've worked out with the brokers and stuff?
So
Not
what
that
are
they're
the
only
next
brokers
markets?
necessarily.
So what are the next markets?
Like, where do you see it going next after this?
No, I didn't understand your question.
Where are you going to take it after this?
So in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next market which I'm thinking that after India, Nigeria and from UK, India, Nigeria, the next market is for me UAE, India. And that's a very interesting corridor, and if I tell you that from UAE to India, the volume is 13.7 billion.
Wow. There's a lot of Indian workers in
Yes.
Sorry, you haven't answered my question.
Yes, please.
This one for paying, it's guaranteed you get delivered, but if you don't have somebody to trade it against, how is it guaranteed to get it? So is your company taking that as a,
So yeah, so these are different instruments which we are building. Obviously, in one of this that we need to have a ability of the traders, and the system works in this way that we need to swap, because that's how the real system works. You do swappings and managing your ledger. While in our case, we still manage the ledgers, but actually on the Bitcoin or any crypto tokens which we are using as in Bitcoin.
transfer.
So what happens if on the other side there is no one who wants to settle it? Obviously in that case, a very simple answer is the system doesn't work. So it's our job as a company, and that's why we get paid, and that's why we call it company, not a tribe, that we make sure that the company and the system is up and running both sides, and we have ability of people or traders both the sides. And that's the whole reason that why we are a company. So it's our job to make sure that we must have the other side, someone to settle the ledger.
You still haven't answered the question. What
Yeah,
if you
because
don't-
that's what you are asking me. Tell me how I'm doing this.
Yeah. If you
That's
haven't-
I cannot answer directly. So just to answer how we are doing this, obviously we have partners. So we have partners both the
But
sides.
somebody's financing this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so we have basically both the sides partners who are guaranteed every day that okay, this is our capability to settle say $200,000. This is my capability to settle $50,000. So we know every day that today what we got. And obviously what happens by end of the evening, if we already reach that amount, we have to close our desk and say, okay, this is enough for today, we cannot do furthermore. But obviously these numbers are higher. Like right now, we have a capability to move India every day, roughly from 300 to 350,000 pounds.
So basically you're using the colour in effect of one of your trades, you're getting paid for it instead of waiting for your zeros. A zero fee.
So that's why even the system is working with zero fee, because we are making money on the other side of the trading. So even if it's getting matched by itself, and we are making money there.
Is there a huge imbalance between UK to India and India to UK? Massive
Yes.
imbalance.
Correct. So like if you see the Bitcoin transaction size, I think here the exchanges are doing 10 to 20,000 a day. While in India it's 3 to 4,000 a day. So you have 5 times imbalance.
What about sterling transfer?
So on a fiat rails, you mean.
Yeah.
But on a fiat rails, it's done through wire transfer or banking system, which does not have an imbalance because...
No, I'm just thinking about what's the volume from the UK to India as opposed to the volume from India to the UK.
It's,
Because
I
at the
can
end
give
of
you an
that,
example.
the end of that, your books will be very imbalanced if you're only trading in one direction.
So that's what we are doing right now. We are trading only in one direction. We are not interested to move anything from India to UK
Right.
because that's not where the market lies.
The cash is going out, yeah.
Yeah.
But then if you were doing your system and always having somebody there balancing, helping you balance your books are going to get very imbalanced very quickly if it's only trading in one direction.
No,
No?
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't happen.
Because high liquidity in the UK is going to low liquidity in India.
So what's
So there's
happening
always
here?
a
We are
flow
not doing
across to India.
balancing like a normal system. What we are doing that our traders have this books, and then once you have say our traders had got this 200 bitcoins, there is enough demand in the market to sell this and balance this book internally in India
They're using the Bitcoin market.
using the
Okay.
Bitcoin market.
Yeah.
So you don't have to reverse the flow to balance it.
No, then I
You just settle it in the
misunderstood
same
something
market.
you said then, because when you were talking about using partners, if there was no trade on that side to fulfill the trade from this side,
Yeah.
then a partner,
Well, not to fulfill
Fronts
the
it.
trade, it is to, they're basically using one side to buy bitcoins to actually provide the other side an exchange for that to go to the other side. So when he says,
you've lost me.
in effect, what he could do is make all of them zero if they wanted to and not charge at all.
No, I understand that. What I understood from you, and I could be completely wrong, what I understood from you was the question you asked was,
Yeah.
suppose you're sending £1,000 from here,
Yeah,
right, and ignoring Bitcoin or whatever.
yeah.
If there wasn't somebody at the other end could fill that £1,000, what happens to it? And what I understood from Kumar is that a partner would then guarantee and fill that £1,000.
Yeah, in exchange of the Bitcoin which is coming from UK.
Yeah.
So
Right,
he's
and
actually doing the
right,
purchase.
so he's not filling, he's
He's
getting.
not just
Right,
giving
no, no, yeah,
£1,000
that's,
for
yeah,
nothing.
that's the bit that I didn't.
So yeah, so
quite get.
so the guarantee which we have for say 300 to 400,000 pounds right now is actually not the guarantee, is the demand which we have. Let's
Right.
say the correct word is the demand which we have that from our partners that okay, we are up to buy up to 400,000 pounds. Give us, which makes sure that always the system is up and running up to that 400,000 pounds. Obviously, we have to work more hard and we have to increase this limit so we can start transferring more. But that is still, I see Cashaa as a very, very recent new stage where we need to
But do you
use
work
the
in-
system and
Do you work in any cryptocurrency or just Bitcoin?
for the moment we are working with Bitcoin. Also the reason why it's given in the previous slides that Bitcoin have the highest market share.
So if
And
it
the demand
drops
is there.
tomorrow, floors.
So yeah, obviously if it's dropped tomorrow, it's a problem. Like if the Brexit happened, all the exchanges stop sending money to India because there was a sudden 19% loss which nobody wants to take. So if something mishappens, it mishappens. You know, but we need to see that how much likely that can happen. Obviously we cannot guarantee that it cannot happen. So that's why Cashaa is a complete crypto agnostic system. What we need is the demand and supply of crypto tokens.
Yeah.
Does not care which token.
So even if the value of Bitcoin drops, as long as it's translated either side, so it's
Yes.
lower for both parties, and therefore it's parity.
Yeah, so that's why if it dropped, it's not changed for us because before a trader was selling 0.1 and someone is buying 0.09. Now because the Bitcoin price dropped, someone is selling 10 and someone is buying 9.
And there's always, there always is the transfer of the Bitcoin. It's not like a clearing bank. You're
Yeah.
not balancing one side of
It's
India
not balancing.
to Britain, so you're actually transferring the Bitcoin.
I'm settling the assets. I'm not giving someone false promise that okay, we will settle it later in the future. That's how the banking works.
Yeah,
But if you
We are
can't-
settling it with the real value.
right, okay, good.
Right now in a Bitcoin, tomorrow if the Redix tokens are up and live running, we can settling in Redix tokens.
Yeah, but you're still
It's,
cashing out Bitcoin to whichever currency at the other end, aren't you?
But it doesn't matter because those bitcoins will make their way out of that country, maybe
Yeah.
through arbitrage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if Bitcoin has dropped completely, i.e. it's
So
gone
he-
to
the question was that
Somebody will
if
still
Bitcoin
buy it,
finished.
somebody will still sell it to
Yeah.
make profit on arbitrage across exchanges.
Yeah, but
So the question here is what if Bitcoin is not more? It's finished, it's zero.
If
Yeah.
it
That is the
just
question.
Could
crashes,
there be another mechanism?
So then
Yeah.
there is no
no, but if
mechanism.
you're in the middle of you've actually done that. You've done all your purchases in one. You've
I wouldn't go
done it
to zero
Bitcoin.
in like
In-
Or like in
Yeah.
30 minutes or
Or
that's what you
3
need.
days
Yeah.
or whatever, which is.
But we are not holding anything for 3 days. We are settling it instantly. So someone is sold and someone is buying in India. So we are not holding anything for anyone. Because you do this holding,
Some
just give
currencies,
it a time frame.
some
Please.
currencies have dropped significantly in a 3-hour period.
yeah, so that's what I'm telling, that we are not taking that 3 hours risk.
I think that
We are settling it instant because
Yeah,
Bitcoin could
there's
be
bigger
transferred
problems.
instantly
Okay.
or any
Zombies.
digital token could be transferred instantly and you just get paid out for it. So you're not taking any consumer risk like aggregating all this sum and doing one transfer.
So typically, what is your time like
For whom?
for the transaction? Like 3 minutes?
For
30
consumers?
minutes? Yeah, for
For
everybody.
consumers, it settles if this is the first time and he's doing a
The,
bank
the
transaction.
longest case scenario.
So the longest case which we have is 24 hours first time. But that's not our risk case because the Bitcoin is already sold.
The price is pre-agreed, isn't it?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
prices have been already locked. Yes, if what happens that it completely went down, in that case, the worst what I can do is that if there is a huge sum so much, you can just revert back the transaction. Because if you think carefully, it's still we have to hedge somewhere the risk. There will be a loss if there is such a disaster, let's say the word. Obviously there will be a risk.
But it won't be to your
So-
company, it'll be
someone-
to the person who's done it.
No, I cannot pass this to the cash center because our cash center is not exposed with the Bitcoin. So if there is some kind of risk, as a company, we have to take this risk. It's not the cash center who asked us to use which rails or which technology. So it's always, if there is a risk, as a company, we have to take this.
Right, that's good. For the cash